Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So once again, Piers Morgan is back on the air, this time a podcast, and spreading more misinformation and nonsense and just full-on BS about veganism. And as we'll see here, Piers plays the victim. He's saying he has the right to disagree with veganism. Yeah, he can disagree with veganism, but it's just a whole nother matter to spread just flat-out lies and nonsense. And before I get started, I want to acknowledge that Earthling Ed made a video responding to this very same Piers Morgan interview, and I haven't seen it yet. I wanted to be sure that my reactions are purely my own, and as soon as I'm done, I'll go and watch Ed's video. So let's get started.
I think the other thing, you've got to have a bit of bravado, a bit of chutzpah. You've got to have an ability to know how to stir things up and wind people up. I like to annoy all the right people.
Well, I must be the right people because Piers has annoyed me many times throughout the years. And in fact, I'll link down in the show description to our playlist of the many Piers Morgan response videos I've made. This is not my first, and this is why I'm responding. It's kind of a little hobby of mine, is to combat his nonsense. Anyway, as he admits here, he loves to troll. I mean, let's hear more about this passion of his.
I like to annoy all the right people who are so permanently offended by everything. They're easy to wind up. Do I enjoy that? Yes. I love sometimes just putting a tweet out. I mean, the vegan sausage roll debate was one of the funniest things ever.
All right, we'll cover this vegan sausage roll thing in a moment, and it really wasn't that funny, but let's hear him out.
I had the flu on holiday in Italy. I was in bed sweating with a raging fever, and I saw Greg saying, "The wait is over. Finally, it's here, the vegan sausage roll." I said, what on earth are you talking about? Who's been waiting for a vegan sausage roll?
Not to do any personal attacks, but a comment like that from Piers really makes me wonder if he's a narcissist, in that he can't seem to get past his own experience. Like, who's waiting for a vegan sausage roll? He thinks no one is. Well, maybe vegans are, or people who eat plant-based. So just because Piers has no desire for a vegan sausage roll doesn't mean that there are not other people who are happy to see a vegan sausage roll option.
Apart from anything else, I agree with the French, where it's illegal to market vegetarian or vegan products using meat language. A sausage roll is meat.
Yes, I've made videos covering these ridiculous arguments from the meat industry. Now that vegan meat options are taken off, they're up in arms that they're losing market share. So they're trying to lie. They are lying to the public and the government, trying to protect their market share, saying, oh, consumers are confused when they go to the grocery store and they see veggie burger written on the box. Like, who in their right mind would buy something labeled like veggie burgers or soy milk and not know it's not animal products? I mean, this is a ridiculous argument, Piers, and you know it.
If vegans want to eat their gruel, fine. Go and have a joyless existence, munching your lentils.
What a completely ridiculous and stupid thing to say, considering that later on, as you'll see, Piers plays the victim, saying, oh, I have every right to dislike vegan food. And I agree, he does. But to say something is just completely a-hole like this, when the fact is, there's nothing sucky about being vegan. We just don't eat gruel. I mean, why even say that? Does he honestly believe that? Is he really that ignorant about what vegans eat? Like, here's a party we attended last week at Gracias Madre, Newport Beach, and tell me, does this look like gruel, Piers? Does this look like some kind of miserable existence? We're just barely getting by and just depressed about life. Complete malarkey.
Don't pretend your sausage rolls are real sausage rolls. They're not.
Well, yes, they are real sausage rolls. They're not like invisible see-through sausage rolls. They just happen to be vegan sausage rolls made without cruelty.
And they're tasteless, and they've got more calories than a McDonald's cheeseburger. So my point is,
well, since I don't live in England, I have not personally traveled there to try these vegan sausage rolls from Greg's, but I'm pretty darn certain, you guys can comment down there in the comments if you're from England, but let me know, are these things truly tasteless, like devoid of taste? Again, I think Piers is, again, just being an a-hole here, and he wonders why vegans might get a little upset with them. But, you know, he's the victim. Anyway, and he compares the amount of calories in the sausage rolls to a McDonald's cheeseburger. Well, we'll fact check that in a second, but let's continue on.
Do I care? Look, I don't care as much as I do about Ukraine, but in the moment, it really annoyed me that there was a presumption we'd all been waiting for a vegan sausage roll.
No, but you know what's annoying, Piers, is your misrepresentation here. Of course, not everyone was waiting for a vegan sausage roll from Greg's in England. Of course not. Just people who are vegan might be interested in that, and people who eat at Greg's looking for another option may have been interested. But how can you get annoyed about something that never was even a possibility? There's no way that everyone was waiting for a vegan sausage roll. This is ridiculous.
And I was also annoyed that you were seeing stories of vegans charging into state restaurants and playing music of cows being killed. I was like, shut up and go away. I don't come into your gruel restaurants, ever.
What does that have to do with anything you're just talking about there, Piers, about the Greg's vegan sausage roll situation? Now you're complaining about how you saw a video, it didn't happen to you, but you heard about some people who were in a restaurant and some vegan activists came in and did some kind of protest and left. Well, you know, how does that affect you, Piers, if you weren't there? And the reason why you weren't there is it's very rare. I've never seen something like this happen firsthand. I've never participated in something like this firsthand. So yeah, complain, Piers, about something that's never happened to you.
And shout about what you do to the bee community in California when you eat your almonds and almond milk.
Well, please do tell, Piers. Please let me know what us vegans are doing to the bees in California.
Right? Billions of bees exterminated every year.
Billions? Are you sure?
That literally billions of insects get murdered.
In a 6-week cull in California so vegans can eat almonds and eat avocados.
Again, another asinine comment here. Like, so vegans can eat their avocados and almonds. Like, what? Only vegans? And only vegans eat avocados and almonds? Is that what you're saying, Piers? And it's not like if you're vegan, you have to eat almonds and avocados if you want to avoid the bee situation that you're talking about here. And I want to also point out that, you know, non-vegans are blissfully consuming almonds and avocados, and Piers doesn't have a problem with that. Just vegans. And speaking about his hypocrisy here, let's look at what's actually up with all these billions of bees being killed supposedly in the production of almonds. Because if you take a look at what commercial beekeepers actually produce bees for here in California, it's to produce pollinators, bees, for foods that are fed to cattle, alfalfa, clover, and other feed crops for cattle. So if there were no commercial beekeepers raising these billions of bees for livestock feed, as it says here in this article, you'd be eating primarily a meatless diet, Piers. So please don't try to pin commercial beekeeping on vegans.
Do you care about vegan sausage rolls?
I care about the hypocrisy that surrounds the debate, actually.
And I personally care about the hypocrisy that surrounds pretty much everything that Piers Morgan has to say about why he dislikes vegans.
So anyway, I did a tweet saying, this is ridiculous. And everyone went nuts. I wasn't allowed to think that this was ridiculous. I had to agree that vegan sausage rolls were fantastic. Everyone goes bonkers.
Well, Piers, it's how you said it. If you had just simply made a tweet saying, hey, I went to Greg's, I tried the vegan sausage roll, didn't really like it, but, you know, good luck, and so on and so on. Yeah, that's cool. You can express your opinion like that without upsetting people. I'm sure a few people would be upset, but here's what he actually did. He went on to his show, Good Morning Britain, and pulled this stunt.
What are these? The sausages or the vegan ones? What
These
are
are the vegan ones.
Yeah.
Vegan ones?
So you
Yeah.
can barely tell the
I
difference.
can tell.
I mean, they stink, right?
No,
for one,
they're delicious.
Right?
They're delicious, actually.
Because they've got the same seasoning.
Ooh, God.
The vegetarian sausage is nicely flavoured.
That's a good look, Piers.
Oh, my God.
I would eat
Why would
that.
anyone eat this?
I mean, such theatrics, but like, you know, that's to be expected from a self-admitted troll, as we saw at the beginning of this video. And to continue this whole tweet thing, he's all complaining about how he's the victim. Well, right after this, he ended up in the hospital for some reason. And right after that, he tweeted that it was probably the vegan sausage roll. It was so horrible and bad that that's what put him into the hospital with an illness.
Greg's love it because they sell, I think, about $1 billion worth more of their products that year. In fact, the CEO thanked me personally at the end of year results. So they cleaned up.
Well, I'm glad something good came out of this stupid stunt of Piers's, that the launch of Greg's vegan sausage roll was a phenomenal success. Good job, Piers.
But the whole thing to show me that everyone was allowed to love vegan sausage rolls, but if you deviated from that and said you hated them, you had to be destroyed. This wasn't acceptable.
So this is rich. This is hilarious. Piers is the victim. He's saying he is not allowed to have a certain opinion that vegan sausage rolls are bad or undesirable.
The woke brigade had decided vegan sausage rolls were untouchable. You had to support them. You had to think they were great. This was brilliant.
Like, what's he even talking about? He's playing victim here, saying he's not allowed as a free person in a free country to have his opinion that he is not in favor of. He dislikes Greg's vegan sausage rolls, and this is complete nonsense. I mean, nowhere is it said that you have to be in favor of Greg's vegan sausage rolls, and if not, you're a bad person and you're canceled. And he's entitled to have his opinion, and it's totally cool. The reason why people got upset and why I made a response video, it's how he expressed that opinion. He vomited into a trash can and said they're tasteless and disgusting. And, you know, let's say I dislike something. And for instance, the NBA playoffs are happening. I'm not a big fan of the Phoenix Suns. I want them to lose. I don't want them to get to the finals. But I'm not going to be a dick or a-hole about it. You know, I'm not going to make some video calling Chris Paul a horrible person. And he eats a vegan diet, by the way. It's just my opinion. I'm entitled to have that opinion. If you're a Phoenix Suns fan, comment down there. No hate or anything. I'm just saying you can have an opinion about something that's not favorable and not be a complete a-hole about it.
Even though they're bad for you, literally worse for you than a McDonald's cheeseburger in terms of salt and calorie intake.
So Piers is absolutely hilarious. Now, out of the blue, he's concerned about the nutritional content of food, about eating healthy food. Well, first of all, let's take a look at the definition of veganism really quick here, because it says nothing about it being a healthy diet or some kind of weight loss diet, because Piers was talking about calories. It's just an ethical stance against animal cruelty and exploitation. But anyway, let's get back to his claim here about calories and sodium, because this is something that can be fact-checked. So Greg's sausage roll, the vegan sausage roll, has 300 calories, and let's compare that to the McDonald's cheeseburger, which he says has fewer calories, and it has the same amount. They both have 300 calories. But I'm thinking, why stop there? Who really goes to McDonald's and eats a cheeseburger, right? I remember those being really small, not satisfying, you know, really tiny. Most people go there for their signature Big Mac, which has 550 calories. So once again, I fact-checked Piers Morgan and found what he was saying here about the calorie content being totally wrong. McDonald's does not have fewer calories than the Greg's vegan sausage roll. But I'll give him credit, he's batting 50-50 because he was actually right about the salt content. The McDonald's cheeseburger has less salt than the Greg's vegan sausage roll.
And even though the whole thing was predicated on this utter hypocrisy around vegan food, that somehow they're leaving the animals alone when they exterminate the little guys, the bees. And I feel sorry for the bees.
Well, let's send tons of blessings out to Piers Morgan. Bless that man's soul for being such a loud and proud, outspoken activist for the bees. Yes, he's an insect activist. My ass, he doesn't give a rat's butt about bees. If he did, he wouldn't eat meat, because as we saw, all the bees that are killed to produce the livestock feed for the cows and other animals that he eats. It's hypocritical that he's calling vegans hypocrites, because let's look at the definition of veganism. He thinks we're hypocrites, and nowhere here in the definition of veganism does it say anything about perfection. And if any bees get killed or insects get hurt, that veganism is null and void. No, it's a way of living, a philosophy which seeks to exclude, as far as possible and practicable, Piers, as far as possible and practicable, all forms of cruelty and exploitation of animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose. So nowhere in this definition does it require absolute 100% perfection. That's your bizarre, unique interpretation or your personal definition of veganism. And we don't need Piers Morgan to define veganism. It's already been defined by the Vegan Society since the 1940s. And the only reason why Piers brings up the supposedly billions of bees being killed in the production of almonds is that he is basically invoking what's known as the nirvana fallacy, or the appeal to futility fallacy. He's basically saying, hey, we can't reduce all harm in the production of food. You're going to kill some bees. We can't avoid that. So since we can't avoid this complete elimination of all cruelty, we might as well just forget about the concept entirely and just kill all the animals and all the insects that we want. Why? Because we can't have a perfect world of zero cruelty.
No one, you ever hear vegans talk about bees, do you? It's always the big animals. They care about cows, not the little guys.
And you're a hypocrite, Piers, because you care about neither. And I want to also add that if one is truly concerned about not harming bees, not using bees as pollinators to have almond milk, vegans or even non-vegans, you don't have to have almond milk. You can have oat milk, which is my preferred plant-based milk anyway. And what's awesome about oat milk is no pollinators required. So Piers, get over the fact that vegans are all killing all these bees with their almond milk, because that's just your sick fantasy. Anyway, guys, leave your questions and comments down below. Let me know what you thought about this response video. How'd you like it in comparison to Earthling Ads, which I said I'm going to go watch in a matter of minutes. I'll watch it later on this evening. So let me know how we did. Not to say I'm trying to match up with Ed or anything. I'm sure he did a fantastic job. And also let me know, what are your thoughts about Piers Morgan, and have you been following my video playlist basically? Again, I'll link to that, of all the videos that I've made responding to this pattern of misinformation, nonsense, and yes, I'll say it, hypocrisy that Piers Morgan has when it comes to what he says about vegans and vegan diet. So anyway, guys, this is getting pretty long. I'm going to go, comment, hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notifications, and until next time, guys, let's remain happy, healthy, and vegan.
My smile may be pretty, but it's all filled with lies. And if you look closely, see, does it reach my eyes? Smile, smile.